Hello, we are here. Hello, how we're doing today? We're in the house. We have appeared. My name is Lynn David Livesey, and I'm your full spectrum Gnostic, and who am I with today?
Lisa.
Excellent. And we're going to do our checks, and we'll be with you in a moment. Hold on, please. So,
Here we are.
excellent.
Hi, everybody. There we are.
With you in a moment. Okay. Hold on. So we're in the house, and I would like to welcome everyone to our podcast today.
Yeah.
We
Hi, guys.
we have a great podcast for you today. We always have great podcasts, and we're going to be going over a lot of very good things. And what are we going over today?
Tonight we're going to talk about Lightworkers, warriors against the darkness.
Excellent. Warriors against the darkness. That's right. So that is what we're going over today. And we're going to be explaining a lot of things on how things work. So, and you will be able, Lisa's here today. If you got any questions or comments or whatever, she'll be able to address them. And we're all good. We're all good. So let's get started because we have a lot of material to cover. And light workers, first we got to get into what is a light worker. And we're going to get into the different levels as soon as she gets finished playing with her phone. Okay.
Got it.
Now, the different levels, as we talked about so many times before, it is worshiping them is number one. Then it's working with them. It's working with them. Okay, let me get my hands straight. Worshiping them, working with them, to know them, to have the power of them, and then to be one with them is number 5. Okay. Those are the 5 levels. Okay, so we are not to do any kind of work. You have to be beyond worship. Most people just worship them. And who is them? Them can be them, or them. It depends on who you're working with. But we're talking light workers today. So we're talking about upstairs. We're not talking downstairs. But a lot of this goes both ways, and we'll be discussing and defining a lot of things. Okay. But what this is all about is this. If you're going to work with them, you're beyond worship. Now you're working with them. There's different ways of working with them. And that's what we're going to be defining, all the different ways. And a light worker is just one of the groups that work with them going upstairs. Now, at first so let's start at the bottom. First, you worship them. Then you start going higher. The first thing people start doing, like a lot of churches do, where they have these healing circles and prayer circles, where you are forming a circle, and by using prayer, you want angels or the Spirit of God or working with Jesus, you want that energy or light work to come in. And since our power is very limited, this is why people do healing circles. They need to pull their energy. And they're pulling their prayer energy. And a lot of people go to churches and things where they do prayer circles or healing circles. You know about that, right? Okay. Now, that is the beginning of working with them. But some people want to go up a little bit higher. Okay. That is when you get into, and I'm using different examples. These are not the only examples. There are lots of ways. The next example is going to be something like Reiki. Reiki is where you are working directly with them, not indirectly as you're doing with prayer circles. With Reiki, you are working with spirits, which are providing spiritual healing energy to the earth. And what you do in Reiki, if you do Reiki properly, you're supposed to be the copper wire through which that energy goes through. And you are the conduit between the person you're working on and the angel, which is providing the healing energy. And that's the reason where Reiki, you can either use cards or you can use different symbols. And that is in tune with who you're working with and what kind of energy or healing energy you need. You're doing that through the cards or through the symbols or whatever.
Okay.
And then you're supposed to clear your mind and be that pure copper wire through which the energy can flow. But you're not using your energy. If you do Reiki properly, you will feel the energy passing through you. Okay. Is going through you to the person you're working on. Okay. And one thing with Reiki you will find out is that as you do Reiki on different people, sometimes the dial is turned up to 10, sometimes it turned up to 5, sometimes it's turned up to 2. Since you're the copper wire, you don't have any control over how much energy is going through you. But you discover very quickly that the energy varies from person to person. It's not always the same.
Okay.
And people that do Reiki do not understand why sometimes it feels like they're on fire because there's so much energy passing through them. And sometimes the faucet, well, it's running, but you know, more like a garden hose than like a fire hose. Okay. And what they're doing upstairs, unfortunately, I'm going to explain this as we're going through this. They disperse energy based on, okay, we have something called okay, you know, in life, everything upstairs as of downstairs, everything is relative. Okay.
Okay.
You know, here we have something called a credit score. And your credit score depends on, you know, what they think of you. And when we talk about they, we think of the banks and this and that and whatever. And the higher your credit score is, the better deals you can get. The lower your score is, the worse deals you get. Upstairs, you have something called a value too, which is based on your karma value and several other things. And off of your value depends on how much energy they will provide. And that's based off of several things, which we're not going to get into here because it would take me 30 minutes to explain how that value is calculated and whatever. But it goes into how you live in your life, what your karma value is, what you're trying to do in your life, your position, what caste or status you're in. Is a whole list of things that goes into your value. Okay. And the higher your value, the more they're willing to energy that they're willing to provide. The lower your value, the less, but it's not always the same. But if you're doing Reiki, you're not supposed to be worried about any of that. Your job is to be the pure copper wire and let the energy flow through. If it's a garden hose or a fire hose, you're just the pure copper wire. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. And that is the first
You're
thing.
just like the messenger.
No, you're not the messenger because I said it's not your energy. You are working with spirits.
You're the helper. Is that?
Okay. Okay.
Never mind.
Like in prayer circles. In prayer circles, you're working with energy, but indirectly. So in a prayer circle, you're calling on healing energy to come down, but you don't have a connection. With Reiki, you actually have a connection with angels who are providing the energy. And you're connecting through the cards and the symbols. That's how you connect. And then you have your, you're laying your hands or using your little, what they call those things, those little crystal rods, what you use for healing, your massage wands, and that is through which the energy flows, but it's not your energy. Now, some Reiki people are not doing it right, and at the end of a Reiki session, they are very exhausted because they are trying to provide energy. Reiki is angels providing energy for the healing. If you just get out of the way and let the energy run through you, you will not. We have a cat in the frame.
She wants to be part of the show.
If you let the energy run through you, at the end of the Reiki session, you should not feel drained. If you are trying to control the energy or direct the energy and whatever, that is what drains you because they are providing the energy. It's not you are providing the energy. Okay. So that's one of the ways. Now we're going to go up another way. Now, once you get used to working with that way, then some people wants to work with angels directly. And this is what angel workers do. There are some people call themselves angel workers and they do angel work. Angel work is where they are working with a specific angel, not just a group of angels which are generic. They're actually working with a specific angel, and them and that angel are working as a team.
Okay.
Those are called angel workers. Okay. And a lot of them will tell you the angel who they're working with. They're working with Gabriel, they're working with this, they're working with, and that one angel or group of angels, and let's talk about angels. When people talk about I'm working with the archangel Michael, angels are not like us. So when people say a lot of people are working with the archangel Michael, Michael is not one angel. Angels have a name and a number. The name is the name of, angels are born in like a pod or a group. The name is the name of that grouping or pod. And then their number is their number within the pod. Okay. Now, some of these groups are extremely popular. So the archangel Michael is like saying that you're like a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL. It is a class of angel which is working under that within that group. And when you're working with the archangel Michael, you're working with one of his angels, which are working with him. You get what I'm talking about? Okay. But it's not one angel. You're working with that group of angels, which are working on a thing. And what Michael and each type of angel or each grouping of angels work on a specific thing. So Michael does protection. And there's angels which are willing to provide healing energy or protection or this or that or prosperity or different things. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And this is why people that do angel work, they have the list of angels and what angel does certain things. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And this is very similar going up or down. Going down is very similar the same way. Going down, people who does but going down, instead of calling it angel work, you get into they're calling on the one they're working with. They can call it a demon or an earthbound angel or whatever they want to call it, and they're still calling it by name. Okay, so that is the next level, is where you're doing angel work. Okay, so now you can go even higher. Okay. Because why do we need to go higher? We need to go higher because this might be shocking to some people, because some people believe that, that's why people wear Jesus fish, because we're living in the era of Christ. And Christ's rule is on the earth. And that's why this is totally not true. If you listen to the Lord's Prayer, it will tell you that you want God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Because his will is definitely not being done here. Okay. We live on something called a rebel hell planet. Okay. And this planet is controlled by earthbound spirits, not heaven-bound spirits. Okay. And people that do wicked say, it doesn't make no difference if they're earthbound or heaven-bound. I'm not going there. The only thing I go by is by the book of Enoch, which Enoch was the first of the Gnostics. Okay. And what is a Gnostic? A Gnostic is a person who wants to know the next level. Okay. After you worship them, work with them, then you want to know them. That is what Gnostics want to do. They want to know. Okay. They want to have the knowledge, the sacred knowledge. They want, okay. And we'll get into deep into Gnosticism in another podcast. But the reason I was bringing that up is because, you have to, I kind of lost my train of thought, but you got to know who you're working with and how you work with them. Do we have a question?
No, I mean, they're just saying they wanted, no, just go on.
Okay. I thought we had somebody writing a question out. Okay. But anyway, if you have a question, just let her know and we'll be glad to answer, anything you have to answer, any questions you might have. But anyway, back on what I was talking about. So, but going up, working with them, at first you're going to do angel work, as I said, and then some people want to go a little bit higher. Now, the reason some people want to go higher is because we was talking about that we live on a rebel hell planet. And because of that, if you're asking for help upstairs, this is why a lot of people think that the darkness is stronger than the light, because the darkness is right below our feet and the light is far away. Okay. There is not a lot of light workers on this planet. Okay. There's not a lot of people doing light in our world. In case you didn't know this is going to be shocking to some people. This world is full of darkness. Did you know that, or you didn't know that? Or were you thinking this world was full of light? Okay. I know this is going to be shocking to some people, okay? But this world is totally full of darkness. That's the reason we read about all these bad things and people doing bad things and wars and famine and everything, okay? Because our world is full of darkness. So if you need assistance from above, you can get it. But a lot of times, since there is very few people, light workers on this planet, and what a light worker is, which is different from a person who's doing angel work, a light worker is one who is working with one of the seven. The seven, I'm going to tell you who the seven is. A light worker is working with one of the seven, or sometimes more than one of the seven. They're either working with God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, the Queen of Heaven, Michael the Archangel and his forces. They're working with your spirit guides, or they're working with your guardian angels. Okay, those are the seven. Okay. And when I say your spirit guide, because the spirit guides try to work together as a group to steer mankind in a direction, and the guardian angels are supposed to be all working in a group to steer people towards in a certain direction. You get what I'm talking about? Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you some secrets about why people, a lot of their prayers are not answered, and how you can get your prayers answered, and how you can get a light worker to assist you. Okay. Now,
someone says there are a lot of people who claim to be light workers.
Right. And I'm going to tell you how to know the difference.
Okay.
Because light workers, you do not go and knock on their door. They come to you. Okay. Because you are representing one of the seven. So this is what happens. Let's say, okay, a lot of people think, unfortunately, might be shocking, that God is Santa Claus. And you can make a list of everything you want, and you tell God, okay, God, I've been good. I want a new car. I want this. I want that. I want a new girlfriend. I want this. I want to be rich. Okay. And if God loves me, he is supposed to give you everything on the list. That is not how the game works. Okay. God is not into what you want. He's only into one thing. Because he only gave you one thing. She got it right. He only gave you life. And this is why at the end of your life, you only have to answer for one thing. What did you do with your life? He let you play the video game called Life on Earth. Okay. That's the reason science keeps saying that our reality doesn't exist. It doesn't. This is a video game. Your body is an avatar, which is allowing you to play the game called Life on Earth. God gave you a quarter to play the game. Okay. He didn't have to give you a quarter. He decided to give you a quarter. And at the end of your life, if your life is 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, it doesn't make any difference to him, because to him, time does not exist. The only thing he wants to know is, what did you do with your life?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people are saying here that they're about to lose their grandma, and any wisdom to help her transition be more peaceful.
Okay, that's something I'll get into in a minute. Just
Okay.
hold that point.
Okay.
Okay. So so God is only interested in your life. So what he's going to ask you at the end of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why a lot of us do very bad, because the end of our life, when he asks you, what did you do with your life? You want to tell him how many children you had, how big your house was, what your credit score was, how many friends you had, how many husband and wives you had, how many Dallas Cowboy games you attended. He really doesn't give a damn about any of that stuff. He really doesn't give a. Okay. Now, back when the earth was empty, he wanted you to be fruitful and become many. So if you had a lot of kids, that was probably a bonus point. Today, with 7.5 billion people on this planet, I wouldn't be bragging about how many kids you have. Okay. He only cares about one thing: progression. Mental progression, spiritual progression, and emotional progression. Because we left his left hand side as a speck of living energy. Our goal is to go through every form of life, every type of creation, and return to him as a splitting image of himself. That quest can take 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years. It doesn't make any difference, because to him, time does not exist. As long as you're moving forward, it's called progression. If you're not moving, it's called stagnation. If you're moving backwards, it's called damnation. Okay. So he wants you to move forward. So
explain what that means.
To move forward?
Yeah.
Progression is that you're supposed to be moving closer to him. Life on earth, which we're going to go over this real fast, is made up of 100 stages. It's made up of 100. Okay. I got to calm down. Okay. Life on earth is made up of 56 stages and 100 lessons. Now, that is what the tarot deck is all about. The tarot deck is talking about a person's life. Okay. It took one person, and it talks about how this person came from the fool stage to the enlightenment stage. And it shows all the possible paths that you can go in. Okay. And that is the quest we're supposed to all be in. And the person who the tarot deck is based off of is the person called Hermes. He went from the fool stage to the enlightenment stage. Okay. And that is what we're trying to do. We was born a fool, and we're supposed to be progressing to become an enlightened soul. What does that mean in English? We was born with a barbaric animal mind. We're supposed to be trying to convert our mind into a rational, controllable, civilized, super animal mind. Okay. That's the reason we all have crazy thoughts. We all think crazy. We all want to think about killing ourselves, killing other people, doing this and that, choking people, doing all kind of bad things. People that can't control themselves and their crazy thoughts are locked away. People that can control their crazy thoughts, you might want to choke that person and do everything. But if you can't control yourself and your craziness, you are allowed to be in what is called free society. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you can't control your crazy thoughts and your crazy emotions, you can't be in free society. We have to lock you up, right? It's not that the sane people don't have crazy thoughts. We just control our craziness. You get what I'm saying? This is converting your animal, barbaric, uncivilized mind into a rational, controllable, super animal mind.
Okay.
You have to do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is what progression is. And Hermes went through all the different stages. Okay. Now, that's the reason why when a person do a tarot spread, they will show you your past, your future, which to your left and right. They will show you the path on which you're on and the road in which you are traveling. There are several different roads. You can take the highway, the country road, the expressway, as long as you heading home. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So, if you want help from the people upstairs, this is the difference between the help upstairs and downstairs. Help downstairs, they will help you to do whatever you want. They can help you with whatever you want. If you want women, cars, money, this and that, whatever, is only the only thing they want to talk to you about is what are you willing to do in exchange.
Sell your soul.
Okay.
Right?
Or it's
Sell your soul.
something else. Okay. Because everything has a price. And
Okay.
if you want it bad enough, and if you're willing to pay the price,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why most people don't get what they want, because I talk in analogies. Everybody would love to have a BMW. The problem is the reason why most people don't have a BMW is because it's not that we don't want it. We can't afford the payments. Okay.
Or the oil changes.
You get what I'm saying? So that's the reason we settle for cars which are not BMW, called Hyundais and Toyotas. And okay, you get what I'm saying, don't you? It's not that we dreamed when I grow up I'm going to own a Toyota when I get older. Okay.
Hey, Toyotas are good.
We would love to have a BMW, a Mercedes, this and that and whatever, but a lot of us never get that car because we are not willing to pay the price.
Okay.
On
question.
the dark side,
Oh.
as long as you can work out the price, you can have anything you want on the dark side. The problem is, can you pay the price? And if you can afford to pay for that Mercedes, and that's the reason no one cares how you got it, legally, illegally, this, that, whatever, as long as you're willing to pay the price, downstairs, thou can have it. Your question, please.
Okay. Can you change the road based on the tarot cards? Is that a good
This
question?
is a tangent, but I will accept it. Okay.
Okay.
Tarot cards is not on the cards. The cards are just showing you the path in which you are going. And if you're heading towards San Antonio, and if you don't like that, I don't want to go to San Antonio. Why am I heading to San Antonio?
Okay.
Okay. You have the right. You know, this is why you have choices in your life. But sometimes to change your direction, you have to wait until you get to a crossroad. That's the reason sometimes you want to make a change and you can't, because you have to wait. If you're on a street, you have to wait until you get to a crossroad before you can turn. And then when you get to that crossroad, you have the decision, are you going to turn or are you going to go straight? You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't like the path you're on, you can start working on the next time I come across an intersection, which is an opportunity, which is an opening in your life, you're going to take it. Some people be bitching and complaining, and they keep passing all the intersections. And they say, I hate this road I'm on, but they won't get off the damn road. You get what I'm saying? Now, this is the difference between the Catholic way of thinking, which is destiny. And if you are on that road, is just destined to be on that road. There's nothing you can do except your destiny and just go down the damn road. Okay. Metaphysically, we do not believe in that. We believe that we control our life. Okay. And if I'm a sharecropper, and if I don't want to be a sharecropper, even though I was sharecroppers 10 generations back, I don't have to be a sharecropper. Now, it's not going to be easy to get off that road, but you can get off the road if you're willing to pay the price to get off the road. That's the reason a lot of people will take the easy path and stay on the road, because all of your friends, all the people you know is on that same road you on, and they want you to stay on that road. And if you're going to get off, they're not going to make it easy for you. Okay. And I'll use myself for an example. Everyone in my family worked on the assembly line at General Motors. All of my family going back, they've always been General Motors workers. And when I got old enough, my dad had a job lined for me up for General Motors, this and that. And I told him, no, I'm not interested in working at General Motors. And it pissed him off. We still don't get along. But the price I paid for going against him and everybody else was severe, but I was willing to, I wanted to go a different way. I didn't want to be an assembly line worker. I'm not saying it's bad to be an assembly line worker, but that is not what Lynn David Livesey wanted to do. Right? I could have said, well, it's in my family. Everybody else worked there. I'm not, okay. Right? Okay. This is why a lot of people are not happy in life, because they don't live the life that they want to live. They're bitching and complaining and following the other cows. That's called herding. Okay, we're not cows. Okay, now back to what we was talking about before.
Yeah, and someone got mad at you because you didn't answer the question.
I didn't answer the question.
Got very mad.
What question did I not answer before I go further?
Okay. About transitioning.
About the person transitioning.
Yeah,
okay, but this is about
help her transition to be more peaceful because she's about to die.
Okay, but okay. It's not that I haven't answered that question. We haven't got to that yet. Okay. And we're going to be getting to that. You got to have a little patience. Okay. So let's get back to what I was saying. So if you want to get the people upstairs to help you, they're only interested if you are progressing in your life and you need help in progression. And if you're broken down on the side of the road on the game of life, they're willing to help you to get back on the road to move forward. So, as I always use as an example, if you're a single mother and if you don't have transportation, and if you say, boy, I really need transportation really bad. God, I really need transportation. Not for me, but I need it for my kids so I can take my kids to school, and I need it so I can find a job, and I need it for this and that. And if you help me to get a car, I'm going to provide for my kids, and I'm going to do that. Okay. They're writing down everything you said. Okay. And they can see that will help you to progress in your life. They will assist. Now, warning: it probably won't have 20-inch wheels. You get what I'm saying, don't you? It probably won't have a BMW or one of these elegant cars, because them looking down upon us. Every car has 4 wheels and an engine. Okay, what's the difference? Okay, she needs help to get her kids to school to find a job. As long as it has 4 wheels and an engine, what difference it makes? To us, it makes a hell of a lot of difference. To them, it makes very little difference. So they will assist. That is how you get assistance upstairs. Now, when you got bigger problems and you need assistance in your life because you're having health problems, or you're having problems in your life and you're very depressed and whatever, and you say, oh, God, please help me. I don't know what to do, this and that. Oh, my gosh. Okay. They hear you. You need assistance, but you need a person to help you. You need a tow truck to come and help you to get back on the road. This is what light workers do. Light workers is you just happen to bump into that person, And that person just happened to assist you with the problem that you was having. And you don't know where this person came from, but he just popped into your life and is like, oh, you're having this problem here. Let me help you, this and that, and whatever. And as soon as the problem fixed, the person is gone. And you're like, I didn't get that person, that person really helped me a lot, but I got his number, but I can't find where I put it. And that's how light work. You get what I'm saying? Because he is directed to bump into you, or you're directed to bump into him. And y'all just happen to cross paths at that time of need. And your need is taken care of. Not that everything is like Cinderella. The need is just given just enough to put you back on the road again. Mm-hmm. You was broken down on the road. You come across that person who was directed to cross paths with you. He puts you back on the road again. You get what I'm saying? Now, to answer this lady problem about what was, let me get this right.
Here we go.
So I'm ready to answer the question now.
I got to go way back.
Okay,
my 96-year-old grandma is actively dying. She is so scared she won't let go. Any wisdom to help her transition?
Now, the transition
to be more peaceful.
The transition is that we're thinking, and we've been told, because we live on a rebel hell planet, that when you die, the end is the end, which is not true. We are locked in the third grade. We are locked in a house. Upstairs is very beautiful. We call it heaven. It's definitely not. And the middle floor used to be extremely nice. We screwed it up. It's 7 billion people on it now. It's kind of crowded. The downstairs, it's very ugly. We don't want to talk about those dark corners over there, definitely. But we're locked in this house. We was upstairs in the land of light. When it was our turn, when we received that quarter to play the video game of life, we used the quarter and we went into the dark tunnel and we ended up in our mother's tummy. At the end of our life, if you have light, the tunnel will reopen, which is behind me, and you are beckoned to go back upstairs. Okay. And you will see people you know and people you know that you don't know beckoning you upstairs. And the reason you will see people you know, because you knew them in this life, and the reason you will see people you know that you don't know, because you know them, but you do not know them, and they seem extremely familiar, but you don't know them, because they are people that you knew in previous lives. Oops, I said previous lives. Oops, I slipped. Because this is not your only life. Okay. We have a life of 1,000 years, which has been split into chapters, as it says in the book of Genesis, is that our life has been limited to 120 years. This is why no one hits 130. Even if you have born with a perfect body, you take perfect care of your body, you will live to be 121, 119, 123. Nobody hits the 130. That is the cap that was put on our life. Mm-hmm. But our real life is 1,000 years, just like they used to live back in the days before the flood. The only thing that they split our life, because at the end of that 1,000-year life, you was judged. Passed or fail. What they did now, they split our life in chapters, just like your life is split into chapters now. Elementary school, middle school, high school. And every time you go to the next chapter, you start over again. You get what I'm saying? So even though you was terrible in elementary school, when you go to middle school, you start fresh. When you go to high school, you start fresh. You get what I'm saying? And you can carry all your problems from one to the other, or a lot of people will make a giant change from elementary school to middle school because they didn't like the person they was in one, and they switched and made the changes. Okay. So to answer her question, what she needs to realize is that this is not the end. Okay. She needs to, at the end of your life, you need to realize that this chapter of your existence is coming to an end, and you need to let go, and you need to go back upstairs. And if you're getting close to death, you will start seeing these people you know and don't know. They will start hanging around you, telling you to prepare yourself for the journey. But since we live on a rebel held planet, we have not been instructed. And a lot of people refuse to go into the light. Progression is a voluntary thing. You must go into the light. They will not drag you by your hair into the light. You must voluntarily cross. And if you do not cross, that is how you can become a ghost, right, and be lost on this side, or stuck on this side, right, if you refuse to cross. Right. Okay. So I answered the question, right? Okay. So we're back in the light work again. So this is what.
There's another question, real quick.
Okay.
Do light workers know they are light workers? These are interesting questions.
Okay. If you are a light worker, a real light worker, a light worker is the analogy. Am I in the army, or am I a part of the Green Berets? Am I in the Navy, or am I a Navy SEAL? How do you know the difference? You know if you're a Navy SEAL or not. Okay, you get what I'm saying? You know if you're a Green Beret or not. A light worker is a person who agreed to do a job, and he had that communication, and they're working with a particular person. As I tell you, light workers work with one or the seven, or several, or more than one of the seven. And light workers will, a lot of times, will tell you, I'm working with Jesus, or I'm working with I'm working with the Virgin Mother, or I'm working with Michael the Archangel. Okay. You get what I'm saying? And what they do, as I said, how they work is they are directed to, they get that inkling in their head. Okay. And I'm going to tell you some things I shouldn't tell you. I'm an ex-light worker. I used to be a light worker. Okay. Now I do light work. I am no longer an official light worker. Okay. I do light work. There is a difference. But when I was a light worker, and I still, doing light work, I'm still directed. Not as much as I used to. But a lot of time, especially when I was when I was a light worker, I see that lady on that bench, or I'm walking down the street, and you get that voice in your head. Hey, why don't you go over there and say hi to that lady over there? Or why don't you just bump into people? You get what I'm saying? And since I was specializing in elimination, even though I worked at the market, people would just walk up to me, and I'm selling my jewelry and my wares and whatever. And this happened for years, which is very strange. And women just walk up to me and say, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but there's something in my house, and at night I think something is in my bed with me, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. I said, Miss, I need to get your name and your address, and I can come over on Monday afternoon, and I'll take care of the problem. Okay. And she said, but I never told anybody about this before, and I don't know why I just walked up to you, and I'm just telling you this. I said, everything's okay. I'll take care of the problem. See, either I have to cross her path, or she has to cross my path, but that is not accidental. Somebody crossed the paths. You get what I'm saying? Because she had a problem. She knew that something was in her house, something she didn't know what to do about it. It's not like you can look in Google, I have something, something it is in my bed at me at night touching me. You can't Google that. And she was probably praying for help and assistance. And that's how that game is played. But if you are a light worker, you know you're a light worker because you have to accept your commission. It is a commission. Okay. It is something that you agreed to do. And you're under very strict rules. And most people who are light workers, they will not accept any payment, or they, under light work, you're not allowed to get paid. You can accept uh, money to pay for your expenses, but you're not allowed to profiteer. And if they think you're profiteering, remember, you're working for some very powerful people. And they don't get mad, they get even. Okay. That's upstairs and downstairs. Okay. People that work with them upstairs or them downstairs. You make them mad. Oh my gosh. You don't want to do that. Okay. And so a lot of people that do light work do not charge, or they just want their expenses covered because they are an agent of, but they're very quiet. As I said, you was needing help. So I went over this person's house. I fixed this. I took care of the problem. And and a lot of times people say, I really don't believe in all this metaphysical stuff and whatever. I don't know. I've been a Catholic or a Baptist. I said, Miss, don't worry about it. I'll be finished in an hour. You just won't have the problem anymore. I do what I need to do and I leave. And I ran into some of these people years later. They say, I remember you came over to my house several years ago. I don't know what you did. I really still don't believe in that. But ever since you left, I never had that problem anymore. And I said, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I want you to have a very nice day. See, it's the power, the glory doesn't go to you. That's what that book says upstairs. The glory goes to. Okay. You see what I'm saying? See, this is how you know real light workers from the fake one. The fake ones want all the glory to go to them. They want their name and blinking lights and this and that and how great and powerful I am and how this and that and how, okay. The real ones, they're very quiet. You see what I'm saying? And even beyond light workers, there are people on this planet that have power. Okay. See, you see in these movies, everything that's in the movies is reality. You see, like in Superman and in Aquaman and all this stuff, that these people have power. But if they show you in the movie, long before they revealed themselves, Aquaman was a fisherman long before he was Aquaman. Superman was Clark Kent long before he was Superman. They are walking among us today. And these people do things, but in quiet. You get what I'm saying? They're not wearing no uniforms. They don't have capes. They're not flying around.
You don't have a Superman cape?
Okay. But people talk about this all the time. There was a house, my house was on fire. I couldn't get out. And all of a sudden, this guy just grabbed me. I thought he was a fireman. But when I went to talk to the fireman about which one of y'all saved me, they said, nobody went in there. None of us went in the house. What you mean? Well, it was this fireman guy came in and grabbed me and my kids and pulled us out. We didn't go in there.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Those are the real superheroes. They're very quiet. But the fake ones, oh, they're everywhere. Okay. That's how you tell the real from the fake. Okay. The people that have the real power.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
They're just talking about.
Okay. But light work is a commission. And with every commission, there is problems with this commission because the commission is you are working for them upstairs. And they upstairs, and maybe I'm going to get in trouble for doing this, and maybe they're going to make my life miserable. The problem with working for them upstairs, they don't understand a lot of things that on this planet because we live, on government-run planets, things are very logical and rational and everything. And here, people that do light work are always complaining that they're broke, they can't keep a job, because they always want you to travel here and to do this and whatever. And can you help that lady out? And she needs help over there. They don't understand. Okay, if you want me to go to Dallas, I need money to go there. And they're like, why you need money to go to Dallas? Okay. Well, I'm going to need to rent an apartment to have a place to sleep. Why do you have to pay to sleep? They don't understand this stuff upstairs. Okay. They don't get it because we don't even get it. How come dogs and cats? We're the smartest creatures on this planet, but we're the only ones that have to pay to eat and pay to sleep. Dogs and cats, birds, dolphins, nobody else pay to eat and pay to sleep. And upstairs, they do not understand these problems we have. And this is what is hard with being a light worker because they don't understand that I can't go, I can't do that because I have to be at work tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And it's like, can't you just do that and go to work? Just be there at noon. No, I got to be there at 9 o'clock. Why? It's hard to explain things like that. They don't get it. And thinking about it, we don't get it because your dog, your cat, or animals, they don't run by a clock. They don't clock in and out of, right? Why do we? And we're supposed to be the smartest creatures on this planet? Maybe we're the dumbest creatures on this planet. Okay. So this is the problem being a light worker. They don't understand bills being due on a certain day and rents due and and this and that and you need to, and they want you to help this person, and helping that person where you spent some of your rent money, or so these are the things that light workers or people that do angel work complain about, is that they're always doing without because because what they had they ended up giving to someone else. Mm-hmm. Okay. But it's a life. Supposedly, your reward is going to be by sacrificing in this life. Your reward is supposedly in your next life, because by working with them, you're not even on the country road. You're not on the highway. You're on that aircraft going upstairs because you're working directly with them, and you're going to get your reward supposedly upstairs. Okay. Supposedly. Okay. But being a light worker is not as joyful as it should be. Okay. I'm not a light worker anymore. I still do light work because I'm acquainted with how to do it. But and the other difference between being a light worker and me doing light work. So I do not tell people I'm a light worker. I tell people I do light work, since I'm an ex-light worker. And I'm not going to get into why I resigned my commission. That is a big fight that me and them had several years ago, which we're definitely not going to cover on this program. But anyway, when you help people, that's the reason a lot of time people don't know your name, because all praise go to them. So you don't do nothing in your name. Everything has to be done in the name of the person you're working. Just like if you're a Navy SEAL, you don't exist. You're doing it for the Corps. You're doing it for the U.S. government. You see what I'm saying, don't you? Mm-hmm. Your name is not important, right?
Yeah. Here's another question, but this is probably for another show.
Okay.
I see a lot of workers who claim to be otherworldly or have alien contact. I want to know your thoughts on aliens.
Okay, aliens are not.
Show,
some people work with aliens. And the aliens are working very closely now with a lot of people. Okay. And there's a difference between aliens and extraterrestrials. Aliens are people, not everyone. This is why they keep telling us that man is not the highest life on this planet. There are other forms of life on this planet that are not humanoid. Okay. Like the small grays, they live here. Okay. They are not from another star system, another planet. And there's other beings that live here. Okay. But they live inside the earth, or they live separate from us. Okay. So Some of these groups are working with people now. The extraterrestrial groups that are beings from other planet, a lot of them are now working with people because in the near future, they're going to remember
They're going to show themselves.
the blacks
right?
used to be on the other side of the railroad track. Now we're out, and now the gays are out. The aliens and everybody else, they will be coming out very soon. This is why they're working with people behind the scenes because they're preparing for the transition that we're going to have. And this is one of the things that will happen in the future. Once after polar shift, remember, we're heading towards a big calamity. Okay. Which we talked about before. Polar shift is when our sun explodes every 12,500 years. And the last time it happened, that was what we call on Earth the flood of Noah's day, or what science called the end of the ice age. And a lot of people died. Okay. This time, when our sun explode, the Earth is going to be destroyed by fire. They're promising to, instead of abandoning us like they did the last time, and letting us die. They're planning on saving our butts this time and helping mankind to get across. They're going to try to save 5 of the 7 billion people on this planet and help us to cross, but nothing is free. The price of saving our asses is we will be back the way we was in the old days. In the old days, when you talk about the Greek myths and everything, they say the gods and man lived together. This is what they talk about in the Bible and other books. They're coming back, and they're not going to live separate with it. We will live together. Okay. And there's friction on their side. Some of them want to come and rule over us. Some of them want to come and work with us. Okay. I'm not into this being ruled over. As I tell people, slavery, been there, done that. So I'm very anti the ones. I actually am in semi contact with some of these groups and things, but I'm very anti these groups or beings which are trying to rule over mankind and rule over Lynn Livesey. Homie, don't play that. Okay. So I want to be one with them. Okay. And we can be one together. But I'm not into this, Yeah. So, but some people are into that. And some people talk about how great it's going to be when they come and they're going to solve all of our problems and cure our diseases and we're going to serve them. I'm not into being a servant. Okay. But if you want to, but if that's what you want, either way, we're going to find out the hard way when they get here. But this is very soon in man's future. We will be one. So there is a lot of people today who are working with spirits, who are working with angels, working with aliens, extraterrestrials. They're working with everything. Okay.
We're out of time.
It's going to be a very, yes. And if you want to know more about that, you can go on YouTube. A lot of my older videos are there. And you can see some of the shows that talk about the return of the gods or the real fake alien invasion and things like that. We go into what's going to happen in the future. But this was just an inkling. I don't have time to go into much detail. We went into it as deep as I can in the limited time we have. Mm-hmm. But if you need help and assistance, there are people that are willing to help you. You are not alone. You need to know that. But if you don't ask for assistance, and if you're broken down, if you're broken down in in life, and you're broken down on the side of the road, and if you're depressed or have problems or this or that, you have to ask for assistance. If you do not ask, they will not interfere in your life. You have the right to live your life how you want. But if you need help and assistance, they are willing to assist you, but you have to ask the right way, only for progression. They will help you to move forward in your life. Okay. I hope this made sense. I'm glad I was able to be here. I talk about a lot of deep stuff. Maybe you need to listen to this twice again. And I'm here every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday on my Facebook page, Lynn David Livesey. And on Wednesday, I'm always on the Spirit Room Network. Watch the other shows on this network. And I'll see everybody next week. So with that, we had a great time, and I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going into that. I came from that land of light, and what I'm going to do at the end of the show is I'm going to fade back into the light. So I hope to see everyone next week. This is Lynn David Livesey, your full spectrum Gnostic, and Lisa. Lisa, right? We're out of here.
Really?
We're out of here.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.